grew up in the West Country, I grew up in Devon, and this was in the 80s, and me and my mum were the first black family in that town, and it was hardcore. The place is beautiful, like Devon is beautiful, but what I quickly realised when I was really young, I moved there when I was 2, I quickly realised that we were a spectacle, we were an anomaly, we were different, so I had to figure out very quickly what a look meant from a stranger, because people stare, you know? So sometimes people would stare and you'd be like, what does that stare mean? And sometimes it's curiosity, nothing but curious. Sometimes it is straight up racism. Sometimes it's attraction. It's like having to figure out every look. So what it ended up doing, it made me really paranoid, you know, like, oh, you know. So I find it quite difficult being looked at because I'm always figuring out what that look means, because often it would be about safety. You figure out they're looking at you in a way, you need to do one. There's no conversation that could be had to sort out what's about to happen. You have to leave, you know. So it was complex growing up there. Yeah, I feel like I'm translating what's going on with me. So Afrodeutsche is simply African German. If you speak German, you know I'm female, because there's an E on the end, you know? Mm-hmm. But I love it because if you don't speak German, it's a completely androgynous name. It's like a word you understand, but you wouldn't necessarily make it male or female. So I really like that. But the cosmic connection with Afrodeutsche and underground resistance and techno and this whole language is just crazy for me, because it feels like it's always been there for me, but it took all these years to sort of find that and can have that connection to it, and then it's almost like it's translated everything that I've been doing, having this name, finding this word, because it kept on coming up. Basically I was looking for my dad. Yeah, and the word that kept on coming up was Afrodeutsche, and I was like, oh, this is really sticking out to me. This is really like connecting with me, and I just got in touch with all my friends, my German friends, and I was like, so, what does this word mean? You know, and they were like, I said, does it have any connotations? They went, no, it's a historical word, and no one really uses it. It's just a factual word. And I was like, and I was in bed on my laptop, and I was like, okay, can I do this? And I was like, okay, Afrodeutsche.com, Afrodeutsche.co.uk, Afrodeutsche.org, and I was like, that's it then, just gonna use it. But I've been obsessed with Germany all my life. It's the one place I've been to the most. When I was a kid, I've tried learning German all my life, spend loads of time in Germany. It's taken all of my life to get to this point where I made the decision to actually look for him. So even that step a few years back was a huge one. But it, like you say, it is ongoing, and some days I won't think about it, and then other days it will just be right there, and I'll want to scream and shout about it. I'll be on a bus somewhere and I'll be like, I don't know where my dad is. And then I'll come back and get on with whatever I'm supposed to be doing. So it's ongoing, and now, because I'm working so much more than I was before, it's like it's moving into smaller increments at more sort of sporadic times that I have those thoughts, because I've got to focus on getting ready for this show. I don't know if I will find him. I've had to accept that as well, that I might not find him, but I'm just going to write about it. Yeah, I mean, me and my mum are really, really close. She had me when she was really young, and so we're a lot more like sisters. And she's right behind me. She's right behind me the whole time. I think she was happy that I'd finally decided to do that. She was never going to push me into looking for my dad. But I think when we had the first conversation about it, I asked her, I said, I think I'm going to do this and I need any information that you have. I felt that she was really happy for me because I think she's known that her daughter has been struggling her entire life, not knowing her father. It was really early. It was really early on. Like when I was really little, my mum used to clean houses when I was really young, and I used to go and visit her after school or whatever when she'd finished work. And this one place that she used to clean, it was owned by a woman called Isabel Levi, and she had a piano in her house. So I'd finish and I'd come and I'd just ask her if I could play on her piano, and I would just play stuff and write stuff and sort of taught myself how to sort of play. And I can still remember the first piece that I wrote on there. My mum would just play all sorts of music all the time, so classical and jazz and all sorts of stuff. So it was always in there. I always wanted to make. And yeah, I just had lots of friends that all had pianos in their houses. So I used to go around their houses and be like, hey, and then just get on the piano and have a play. I'm a massive control freak. When it comes to playing live, I need to know where everything is and how everything's going to go and flow, because I've had all the freedom before I get to live to sort of make, and I know where everything's going to happen. It's me. So when it comes to a live show, everything is meticulous. It's like laid out so that I can have the freedom to have a nice time. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. It's like I don't like that chaos on stage. It needs to be quite structured. I mean, other stuff that I've done, like jazz stuff, singing Sun Ra and all the band stuff I've done, it's like there's always been room for improvisation and I kind of like that with other people, like sharing that experience rather than on my own, like a solitary thing. I need to be very, this is what's happening now, this is happening now. And I'll just layer things up, and I will improvise a little bit, but the core of it will be structured. For me, a really obvious influence has been Drexciya, Underground Resistance, just that language of that electronica. I don't even know what you want to call it, techno, I don't know. It's like a language that I feel like I can speak. So, and a lot of other people speak the same language, you know. It's like you can be somewhere, anywhere in the world, get talking to someone about music, and when someone mentions Drexciya and you're like, I know you. I know you. Do you know what I mean? It's like the language. And it's just, I feel like it's definitely an influence, but also it feels like an innate thing. It feels like I've always been able to speak that language, you know? So yeah, heavily influenced by Drexciya, Doppler Effect, Underground Resistance, Ux 88, just, yeah, that kind of side of electronica. But then I love film, so a lot of composers, people who write scores and soundtracks to things are also a huge influence on me, just because of arrangement and feel and like how to make sense of something. And it sort of I think when you're a composer, that's what you're doing. You're kind of making sense of a moving image, almost like translating what's going on. So that's my kind of connection to it. I think it comes to comes back to that translating how you're feeling. And often I'll be listening to something and I'll understand what they're on about, and sometimes I won't. It's like I listen to a lot of Radiohead, and because they have lots of lyrics in there, it's much easier for me to understand what's going on. But like the instrumental stuff, it's just, it goes even deeper, it goes on like another level. So I guess I don't know, it's a difficult question to answer that, because I listen to music for all different reasons, you know, like different mood, or I want to lift myself, or I want to go to that dark place and I want to process it, you know, there. So yeah, difficult to answer that one. I love coming home to Manchester for that reason, because I don't feel black. I'm not aware of I'm just not aware of any of it. It's like I'm home, it's relaxed, and it's so mixed in Manchester. And yeah, when I leave Manchester, I suddenly realise that I'm a black woman travelling alone, you know? And so Manchester's just brilliant, because I can completely give up all of those thoughts, and like, people looking at me, it's like they're looking at you because you live on the same street and you've been there for however long, and you know their kids and da da da. It's like, airports for me are a nightmare. And airports are horrible. I hate airports for the fact that I will hand my passport over, and I've handed my passport over. I think I was in Paris and I handed my passport over, and it was this kiosk that had one like kiosk, but two guys looking at people's passports. And I handed my passport over to this one guy, and he looked at it and he laughed. And then he gave it to the guy who was sat next to him. He opened it up and he laughed. Then he passed it back to him and he threw it at me. And because I'm a passport check, I can't laugh with them, or I can't be angry, or, you know, I have to be completely neutral and just take my passport and walk off. And it's like, that happens all the time. It's like you're just faced with these moments of just snide things. And so, because I'm used to it, I grew up understanding that this is what it's like when you leave, or when you leave the house. I can handle it, but it's there, it's still there, and I guess it's the time to start talking about it. When I'm in the writing process stage, I'll be listening back to all the things that I've been doing over that sort of however long period. And so I'll just like make a track list of the things that I've been working on, and I'll just listen to them round and round, and it'll help me figure out if I need to add something or take something out, or if I suddenly feel something. Something really weird that happens as well is I'll be listening to something that I've made, it's not finished, I'll be walking down by the side of Alexandra Park, and some traffic will go past, and it will be like a Doppler effect, and there'll be a sound in that traffic moving past, and I'll go, oh, that needs to go in the music. It's so weird. It happens all the time. Or like a bus makes a horn noise, and it's like, oh, that'll work, you know? And it's just this really weird thing that happens all the time. And it's funny, I'm a joker, right? So for me, Black Forest is my vagina. Black Forest. This is me just being funny, you know. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you can move to the other Black Forest side, you know. So it's kind of me making jokes, and I quite like the text as well. Black Forest. Without shouting about being a woman, you know, I'm never going to shout about being a woman and doing what I'm doing, but I am in a world where it is predominantly men doing it, and that's totally fine. But if I can make a tiny little joke in there, like a reference to me being a woman, then I'll do it. Yeah, someone asked me what it's like doing what you're doing at the minute, and I said it's like when you have those dreams, right, where you've won the lottery and you pay off all your friends' debts and you buy your mum a house and you just pay for the debts and there's still money left to go on holiday and everything's great, and then you wake up. You wake up and you're like, that was so real, but that was a dream? And then you're like gutted. You're like, oh, didn't get it all sorted. Mine is the opposite. It's like I dream about this stuff and then I wake up and it's real. It's like, you know, I dream about, I have like these reoccurring nightmares. I'll have like a show coming up and it'll be, what was it, when I played Zoila at Berghain, and I had this reoccurring dream that I brought one record with me for a 4-hour set. So in this dream, I'm like flipping the record over, I'm putting my elbow on it, I'm like trying to lick a needle, and just like for 4 hours. And it's like these dreams are like reality. It's like, of course I didn't show up with one record, I sorted myself out, but my dream is to play that venue and it's happening. It's like supporting Aphex Twin. It's just like, look, you know, it's like magical, it's like dream. That's the best thing about writing for film and for documentary is you already have that narrative to work with, and then it's your job to make sense of that for people who are listening and watching. So if it's character-led, I'll just watch this over and over and over again, and I'll just get a feel for that character, then I'll create a soundscape for that character so that can sit within the whole piece. That's my language. It's like, this is the sound of this character, and this is the sound of this character. Or if it's sometimes I'll think about the kind of shot that it is. So if it's a shot where the camera's moving up, I will make music that comes down, you know? It's like things like that. It's kind of translating, in my mind, what's going on the screen. So what it does is it ends up changing the way that I write personally, because I might find that I want different types of strings for this part, blah, 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 but then when I go to write my own personal stuff, I'll be like, oh yeah, those strings sounded good in that, maybe I can use them in this. So it's kind of, they kind of have a brilliant crossover.